Now from Hollywood, California, the horror capital of the world, the Boulet Brothers, creatures of the night.
Hello, uglies, and welcome back to Creatures of the Night. We are broadcasting live from Boulet Manor tonight, tired, overworked, but here nonetheless. We have been deep in production hell, finishing a scripted project and getting ready for tour, so we are a little late again. But we're clawing our way back up and committing to being with you every week from here on out, even if it kills us.
Let's be real, because it might. I don't even know if I believe us anymore. It's fine, though. It's fine. We're going to have some fun today. Today's episode is kind of a beautiful mess. There's no theme. There's no structure. This is sounding so good for me. It's just the stuff that's been haunting our group chat all week. Headlines that feel cursed, true crime that won't die, and my God, I'm obsessed, and a handful of movies we had no business watching, but we did anyway.
People always say they want to hear our opinions on things, so this first bit of randomness will be our take on news and noteworthy items.
First up, the Clash of the Titans in every major news title across the nation for the past week or two. It's Trump versus Epstein. Thoughts?
Okay, here are my thoughts. When is everybody going to wake up and realize how completely stupid this whole thing is? We have a literal moron for president who just says the most absurd stuff, like a grandpa with dementia, right? Mm-hmm. And they just go for it. He's like, I'm going to show you the Epstein files. What Epstein files? Now I'm going to pardon the one person. I'm like, are you kidding? Do you think that she's going to get a pardon?
I don't know. It's so crazy, scary, right? It's like I've been trying my best not to look at it because I learned my lesson from Trump's first term. It was inundation, it was panic, it was stress every day, like multiple headlines revolved around him for 4 fucking years, and it was like haunting. So I kind of committed to myself that this time around, I'm just not going to look at it. If something blips up on my radar or we need to vote or something, my voice will be heard. But do I need to like keep dibs on what this fool is doing from day to day, like distracting people and doing shit in the background to make sure that every rich person in the country keeps their money and every not rich person loses theirs? Because that's what I believe is happening.
I mean, it is a literal Mr. Magoo shit show, like every day. I mean, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
no,
it's like a comedy. Like,
yeah.
Like, okay, I know I'm going to butcher her name. Is it Ghislaine? Because I don't listen to the news. I read it. Okay, so I'm not sure how it's pronounced.
She's an educated
Ghislaine,
queen.
I don't know. Anyway.
She is a literate queen.
That one. You know.
That criminal.
She's in prison for 20 years for being Epstein's handmaid.
And complicit.
Right? So if you were the president and you were saying, oh, I don't have anything to do with this, I'm not guilty, why the hell would you then pick to let her out? Mm-hmm. It's so clear and obvious, but like I don't understand why the American people do not see it. Don't get it.
Look, I think this was such a curveball that no one saw coming. I mean, that like MAGA world is super pissed at Trump is crazy. If you asked me 2-3 weeks ago, I'd be like, literally, there's nothing. I mean, the man can do anything and no one on their side, on that team, them, will say a damn thing. Like they just won't look at him any differently than they already do.
Well,
but this is intense, like, and they're not letting it go, which I have to respect. At least it shows some like moral thread there that it's like, it is important. Children, morality, behavior, like we're going to hold these people accountable. To use the Epstein files as a threat when he was like running, or we're going to release them as soon as we get into office. Then they get there and like, oh, there is none. Oh, there is, but it was released during Obama's term. It's Obama, but it was really actually released in Bush's term. It's just crazy. And I don't know how many people care.
I think people don't care about the distraction, but they obviously care about the Epstein stuff. But, you know, you mentioned when are they going to realize? I want to say this too. I am so completely disgusted with established Democrats. Like Chuck Schumer is now on TikTok, and every day he comes out and he's like, today Trump did this and he did that, and that's not okay. I'm like, and you're going to do what? Nothing. You're going to do nothing because you were screaming that he was a fascist before he got elected, but did nothing to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, all the established Democrats can get out. I want them gone. I will never vote for them again. I want firebrand people. I want Jasmine Crockett.
Mm-hmm.
I want AOC. If Bernie Sanders ran for president and he had 3 breaths left, I would vote for him.
I kind of love that. I just don't know what the future holds, because I saw this thing today where they showed the 3 faces of the potential Democratic presidential nominee for 2028. And it was Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, and Pete Buttigieg, right? And it's like, I think...
You're doing it again.
Yeah, exactly. You're doing it again.
It's so strange that Kamala is seen as offbeat. She's so straight-laced and straightforward and positive. I mean, the fact that people think she's too off the path is bizarre to me. And Pete is, I mean, he's so
incredible.
Articulate.
I mean, he is incredible. On the mic, like, no one can touch her.
He's gay.
I know.
He's gay. Like, come on, guys. Like, do we need to do this again?
It's sad. It is actually like a fucking pitiful reality that it feels like if we don't have a white man to vote on the Democratic bill, then somehow the conservatives will pull the rug out from everybody's view on this candidate, and it could slip through the cracks again.
It's weird because, Obama won by a landslide and was very popular. Trump was post that. It's just weird.
Yeah. I really felt like someone picked up the needle on our record, the record of our universe, and we literally transported to a parallel universe where it's like, what if all this bad shit started happening? And they put the needle down on the record right there in 2016.
It's very true. I want to say on that note, MAGA people are always pointing their fingers at drag queens about kids. And I'm like, excuse me. We don't want your fucking kids. I don't want to see them, hear them, smell them, or be near them. You know who cares about your kids? Donald Trump and his Epstein posse. That's who cares about your kids, not us. You don't have anything to be worried about from us.
When I was in art school, I knew a cokehead who called everybody a drug addict. Like, she was the biggest known cokehead of the nightlife scene that I revolved around. But she would point her finger every time anyone did anything, or even if they didn't do anything. She was the one, it was literally the pot calling the kettle black. And that is Trump's playbook every single time.
It's true. You're right. And a lot of people notice it too, but clearly not enough. But we're going to move away from politics.
Yeah, that's only the first subject.
That's only the first
Let
subject.
me ramp it down. And we never talk about politics, so maybe it's, long overdue.
Not on the podcast anyways.
Right.
I mean, I talk at you about politics throughout the day.
And I try to talk you off, basically tell you, like, I'm not the one. You can talk to me about almost everything, but just not that.
You would get fired up and now you're over it. So you're like, I don't want to hear it, which I understand.
Yeah.
We're going to talk next about a real life murder case that had me obsessed for a while, and clearly a lot of other people too. It's the Brian Kohberger case. And for those of you that don't know, in November 22, 4 college students at the University of Idaho were brutally stabbed in their sleep. And the killer was a former criminology grad student named Brian Kohberger, who was arrested 6 weeks later and eventually accepted a guilty plea deal. He was just sentenced, and he is serving 4 life sentences without parole, plus 10 years on burglary charges. And here's the part of it that weirds me out. He did not say why he did it. They still have no motivation for why he did this. He did not know them. He was not connected to them in any way. It's bizarre.
It's crazy. But I feel like we hear more and more stories kind of like that. Right? It feels like the world is getting more unhinged, where it's like 10 people just get stabbed in Walmart or something. And it's just like these random acts of violence is so scary.
It is. But this is like a horror movie to me. I think that's why it's intriguing, because first of all, he had a mask on when he was in the house, which is creepy. So one of the girls that survived, there were 6 people in the house, 2 survived.
Died. Yeah.
He stabbed the other 4 to death in their beds. One of them was with their boyfriend, and he stabbed both of them and killed them. And I wonder, how could you not know somebody but have the energy and the motivation to stab someone 50 times? One person 50 times and not feel bad? Or, I mean, it's very strange.
He cannot be well. That's just not like a rational person. And I remember this story like sort of unfolding, and we listened to the podcast extensively. That was kind
That's
of
what
like
I'm
the
saying.
expose.
I thought we would get the answer.
I was like on the edge. And I remember we listened to that the beginning of the year, and it was like Brian Koberger's due to be sentenced. And I thought it was November, but I guess they pushed it up. And I was like, wow, I was just really entrenched in it. And I do agree with you. Like the scariest part where one of the survivors, you know, when you're living in a house with like a bunch of college students, like it's a little bit of a revolving door. People come in and out, your roommates' friends or their boyfriends or their significant others' friends. And you kind of, it's believable to accept that like if you're sleeping in your room in the middle of the night and you hear a noise and you open the door and there's a guy walking down the hall in a mask and he walks right by your door and looks at you, and then you just close the door and you're like, yeah, I could go back to bed because it could be any one of my roommates' friends or associates or whatever. And that's what happened. But that girl must be so shook to the core to know that she opened the door and 4 of her 5 other roommates were slaughtered in the night and she was spared. Like where do you quantify it with God or your creator? Like, how do you make sense of it?
I don't know, but the interesting part about it is 2 of them survived and they hid in their room, but they said they didn't know what had happened and they were texting back and forth and they didn't call the cops until
for
like noon.
12 hours or something.
And I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. That's weird. I don't care what you did. Like, if you thought your roommates were dead or something was bad, wouldn't you go check? You know, at least once the sun came up and it was morning, you would feel safe to do it. But then once they found them, they waited a couple more hours before they called the cops. And I don't understand that.
The story is not fresh in my mind anymore, but I remember questioning that fact. But I thought there was an explanation, like they were so scared, almost to the point where they were sort of paralyzed into being immobile, did not have the ability to act or move. And I can kind of see that. I can kind of believe that.
How?
Have you ever been in a weird, intense, traumatic experience and your behavior kind of changes unexpectedly?
Why would that be traumatic when you didn't even know someone was killed yet? You just saw someone in a mask.
You know what? I don't think we should stipulate about this because a minute ago you just said, oh, and you knew that they weren't okay, but you still didn't call the cops for hours.
Right.
So did they not know or did they know?
No, they didn't know. I'm saying before they came out and found out, they didn't know. So what was the reason for not coming out and looking around? I mean, would you be scared? I don't know.
Could it have been where they just didn't get out until 12? I mean, shit, I used to sleep till 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
No, wasn't that because they woke up and called somebody else like 3 hours before they called the cops?
For people that don't know the story, it's definitely worth deep diving in. If you can find the podcast, it is just magnetic. Like, definitely check it out because it's really good.
It's so going to end up being a Netflix true crime documentary, like 100%.
Yeah, which we'll get to because we watched a few of those in the past week or two also.
Totally. But before that, we have one last current event topic to discuss. And that is these people with their orange alerts on TikTok.
These people and their bullshit.
These people and their bullshit, fake ass
Halloween alerts.
Halloween alert. So an orange alert, for those of you at home that don't know, that aren't insane and follow Halloween stuff at all hours of the day, you know.
12 months a year.
Yeah. People get on TikTok and they're like, orange alert. This store is packed with Halloween stuff. So then you get in your car.
Well, you see it and you're like,
yeah, oh yeah,
you
it's
gasp.
amazing.
You're
It's a
gagged. It's like, wow.
And it's all neat and laid out.
There's like a magical spooky track in the background. You want to be there.
And then you get up, even though you don't want to. You put on your sunglasses and your hat.
And your sunscreen.
You drive your ass over to wherever it is and go in, and there's nothing there. It's got to stop. It's got to stop.
It is infuriating. And I've actually called because I was looking for something specific and calling shops. And the woman who picked up basically said to me, every shop has different inventory and we never know who gets what and when we'll get what you're looking for. So all you're left to do is just randomly search. You have to go back over and over and over. It's crazy.
And I know people that are looking for certain ghost pillows that they saw on TikTok.
Like
or
you.
The candelabra. Yeah, right. I don't know. I think it's so annoying. It's too early. I love Halloween.
You were looking for that boofy ghost pillow and you wanted it.
That is a lie. I hate that shit. That makes me the most mad is if I go, not that there's nothing, it's that it's all boofy stuff.
Yeah.
I should do
There is some
my own TikTok video series where I go in and show what's cool and what's not.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
At least my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Anyways, let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be reviewing 4 recent releases of films that we kind of liked and some we didn't.
We'll be right back. Okay, uglies, welcome back to this very special Junior Mints Movie Club off-brand edition. We usually only give our opinions on horror, but this week we watched 4 totally unrelated movies and 2 TV shows, and they all kind of left their impression. Some good, some horrifying, and some just confusing and not so good. And we're here to break them down and give you our recommendations.
Okay, what do you want to start with?
Let's start with what we've seen most recently, which was just last night. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I want my money back, and I want to reclaim my time. I am pissed. I don't usually have like a big, crazy reaction. I'm usually kind of in the middle. This movie pissed me off.
Why?
Okay.
Remember, we have to get through 4 movies.
Yes. Here's why. I felt like it didn't need to get made at all. Like we retraced a lot of the steps that the first one, the original, made. Nothing new happened. I didn't see like innovative horror storytelling at all. The scares were cheesy and cheap. A lot of just jump scares and some of them really badly timed. And then the story, by the end, I was just kind of like, I literally looked over at you and I was like, oh my God, please let it end. I'm like, please roll the fucking credits. Okay, I'm done.
All right. So we'll do a new thing. I'll give my verdict, and then we'll give it how many claws up, 1 through 10.
Okay.
All right. So I disagree with you. I actually liked it.
I can't believe that.
I
shit.
liked it.
My
And
God.
I'll tell you why. Was it good? No.
Okay. Well, we agree on something.
Was it kind of fun? Yes. Did it have all the clay to be an amazing sculpture? It did. I think it did. It had all the old school characters back. It had some new people that were likable and fun, which is rare in a horror movie.
I do have to give it to you where it did have all of the old cast. We saw Sarah Michelle Gellar. We saw but like
all of
Brandy
them.
was in there.
Yep.
Like just all of them. Freddie Prinze Jr., they were all there.
And some of them looked rough.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a lot of times people will come back and they have like a glow up and they're like in their daddy phase or whatever. Did not happen here with Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr.
People are giving her a hard time. I thought she looked good. She's just, she's a little thicker than she was when she was 20.
That's all it was.
And she looked good.
Yeah, I felt like she didn't look like old or anything. Not that there's anything wrong with it if she did. I mean, it has been 20 years.
Yeah, well, it's hard to, I think, be in Hollywood as an aging female actress and not be attacked or judged. And I thought Jennifer Love Hewitt looked good.
You do get attacked and judged, but I think more importantly, you get forgotten.
Okay, well, let's get back to this because you said it had the clay. Was it good? No, we agree there. It had the clay. Yes, there was all the old cast, which was very cool.
Which was good. The story was decent in terms of like, how did they recreate this situation? The part that was not was, spoiler alert for those at home that haven't watched it, Freddie Prinze Jr. being one of the killers. I wasn't into that. That was very weird.
When you said the story was, I'm like, no, it wasn't. It was not good. Well, right from the very beginning, like the whole accident in the original, it was very clear they were responsible for that person's death. And in this one, it was kind of like, not really.
Well, that's what I said to you. I looked over and I was like, they didn't do anything.
Yeah. The guy swore. I mean, no. That's a no.
Yeah, the guy swerved off the cliff.
Yeah, they shouldn't have been in the road, but that's not a crime.
Actually, they tried to save him. Anyways, when I said the story was okay, I didn't mean the whole story. I meant the murder setup. And now, in retrospect, I realize it wasn't good either. But I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Oh, my God.
But I do think it had all the clay to be great. Do you think they'll make another one?
Yes.
You do?
I do. I mean, shit. I don't think anyone learns their lesson when it comes to making a bad prequel, sequel, follow-up. And the way that they had, what do you call them, like a button? At the end, you think it's all sewn up and then there's like a button. Well, there was a button on a button on a button.
I was going to say there was like a whole coat of buttons.
Yeah, and they basically said, who do we got to fuck up next time? It just leads right into a third one.
I think ultimately I would give it 3.5 claws up, I'll say. Maybe 4.
You're generous. I will say 3. I almost said 2.5.
And when they make the next one, whoever's listening at home that works on it, you all invited us to the premiere. I wish I could have went. It would have been super fun, but we were filming. So please don't not invite us to the premiere when the next one comes out.
We would love to come and hate the third one.
I don't. One of us, half of us would.
This 3.5 star clause over here.
Well, how many are you going to give
I said 3. You said 4. Is it that different?
No. All right, let's move on.
Speaking of 4, let's move on to our next movie. Ooh, you like that?
Witty.
Transitions. Fantastic Four.
Yes.
She was good.
So you liked it.
I thought it was so cute. Herbie, that little robot. That little robot had me laughing. Like, I just thought it was so adorable. But, aside from that, I thought it was really stylish. And somehow they handled all of these like crazy concepts, and it was very believable. And very much like Superman, it felt like a comic book, which I really appreciate, because both of us are comic book fans and we love graphic novels and stuff forever since we were children. It's cool when a movie based on comic books feels like a comic book.
Something I don't know if you noticed, but there was a scene where there was this creature coming up out of the earth and they were fighting it. And it was an actual reenactment of the first cover of the Fantastic Four. And it was so great. I loved it.
I love that they leaned into bizarro characters too, like Mole Man. Like, Mole Man is dumb. Like, when you saw Mole Man when you were a kid, you're like, oh God, this is a character everybody loves to hate. But somehow he was like charming and played like a pivotal role. It was cool. Subterranea was cool.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought they did a good job with that. I mean, I liked it when I first saw it, but as I sat with it for 48 hours, I came to really enjoy it. I wasn't sure at first. I was like, wait, but like, this is a superhero movie, but they're not doing too much superhero-y stuff. Like, I wanted to see Mr. Fantastic stretched out all around Galactus, and it just wasn't that.
We did get a little bit of that, and I agree with you there. There could have been more energetic or bombastic or epic fights, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about Galactus for a second,
Sure.
and then we'll talk about Silver Surfer being regendered, and then the TikTok trend that's happening now. I herald your end. Like, we've been seeing some funny shit. But to include Galactus in your movie, I think is a bold, dangerous move.
Yes.
Because the character is one of those characters, and we've said this before, it doesn't have to be super intergalactic existential threat level to be an interesting story.
Right.
And Galactus just goes hand in hand with, it's exactly that. He's the world eater. He is the world destroyer. But it didn't feel so imbalanced and so unimaginable that they could counter him, which I think is like a magic trick that they pulled off.
You're right. Because a lot of times stories that get that big in scope, you're just sort of spinning through a black hole. You don't know what to grab onto or what's happening. You start to lose the story.
Yeah.
They did not lose the story with this film.
Yeah.
It was clear the whole time, and it was believable for some reason in a comic book way.
Yeah.
I did think it was weird that Galactus had pants, because he traditionally does not.
Oh, work, draft. You notice all these little fashion details. Pantless Galactus.
I'm just, I mean, they did comics accurate costumes
Yeah.
for everybody else. So, except for the Thing, I don't know if he ever wore a sweatshirt or a sweater.
How about his beard? Controversial opinion. I liked it.
That's a nod to, there was a story that came out where he was older in the future and he had the beard.
I thought he looked good.
Yeah, that part I didn't love, but I did think they did a good job with him in general.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it made Marvel seem exciting again?
Yeah, I do. I think so. I thought it was so stylish, and that was the most exciting part. I love when something, Guillermo del Toro is a director and a creator that I absolutely love. I worship at his altar, because when you watch one of his movies, you sidestep your world and go into his world completely. It's so realized, and I felt like the Fantastic Four was like that too. This was a fully realized, super stylish, everything from the rugs, all the furniture, the costuming, the language, the newspaper splashes. Like, it was just so good.
I thought there was going to be a more direct reference to them leaving their reality and coming to the 616 reality, the Marvel reality that we all know and have been watching movies in. Because at the end of the Thunderbolts, wasn't their ship entering the atmosphere or something? I think it was.
Oh.
And you could kind of make out that it was the Fantastic Four's jet.
Oh.
So I thought for sure they would have done something at the end of this movie to tie them together. But as I said, when I thought about it and sat with it, I thought, no, this is their movie. Let it be self-contained. They can easily explain how they connect in the next series of films.
Yeah, and they alluded to the idea that there were things like parallel universes and these cosmic powers. I don't think it's a far jump to imagine in coming films that they're going to slip through to another parallel universe.
The only thing I was shocked at is that they didn't put Sharon Ventura in the movie.
AKA what I like to call her Miss Thing. No, they
Miss
didn't.
Thing's a different character.
But they did put Franklin. I was kind of surprised that they went right there.
Yeah,
like so
I thought
fast.
so too. Yeah, that was kind of interesting. What did you think of the inclusion of Doctor Doom?
I was surprised. I didn't see it coming. I didn't know, and it was definitely surprising. The image in my mind, though, it was like a little cheesy, just like, why would he have the mask off, even though he was facing away? And we saw the green cloak.
Well, I'll tell you what it might be.
What might it be?
In Secret Wars, the Beyonder is like this super cosmic, powerful god entity. And he got his power somehow and fixed his face. So he undid all the damage and he was going around with the mask off. So I wondered if maybe Franklin had the power to put his real face back or something.
Fix that voice, fix that face.
Fix that face.
Fix that face.
Fix that body.
You better fix that body.
Fix that body. That's when Atlanta was good.
Yeah, I know. God, I miss old school Atlanta.
All right. So anyways, as far as claws up for the
Yes.
Fantastic Four,
I'm going to go 8 claws on Fantastic Four.
I'm going to go 8 too.
It was really good.
Okay.
Solid,
good.
and we might go see it again.
Now let's move on to another superhero movie, which was Superman.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'll start with Superman.
Okay.
DC movies have traditionally not been great for a while.
We can say sucked.
Yeah. Black Adam was
Sucked.
ridiculous. Yeah. Wonder Woman 2, I was so disappointed because I was like, ooh, it's Wonder Woman 2. They're going to be in the 80s. The cheetah's there. I'm going to love it. And I completely hated every minute of it.
Same. After the first one, because I thought the first Wonder
one was
Woman was
great.
excellent.
Yeah.
Like, it was so good. And I was like, oh my God, the 80s. Cheetah. I love the cheetah. Since I was a kid, I love the cheetah. I'm like, this is going to be hot.
Right.
And it was terrible.
Yeah, it really was. But Superman was not terrible.
No.
I thought Superman did an excellent job of giving the DC universe of movies some soul, which it has been missing. I think the Snyder Justice League and the Dark Knight, it was just very dark and broody, which is very DC, but it's hard to connect with as an audience. And I
Yeah.
think this gave Superman some soul, especially the switch with the Kryptonian parents actually being bad,
Yeah.
and his Earth parents being good,
Yeah.
and that whole switch there at the end. I thought that was kind of brilliant.
It was actually kind of moving.
Yes.
Right? Like,
Yes.
if I had a heart, if I had feelings, I think my heart would have swelled a little bit during that part when he loved on his human parents. My favorite part about that, the soul of the movie and like the heart of the movie, and I agree with you. I think James Gunn introduced that to audiences that like DC again with Superman, is this whole idea that like there's like a punk rock soundtrack and song, and Superman says something like, what's wrong with like loving everybody and finding the beauty in everything? Like, that is the new punk rock.
Right.
And I actually think that's very true. In like this cynical world that we live in, where everything is slanted negative and everyone's kind of super judgmental, being open and loving is now not the norm. That is the leftist thing you could do.
That was my favorite part of the movie too, because I feel like in the time that we live in, the message is needed. Like,
Yeah.
we need to reinforce in people's head that being good is good.
Yeah.
It's a quality that you should be proud of, and you should rise up to personally, challenge yourself to
And
do good
promote in
things.
other people. And then when you see it, recognize it and give credit where it's due.
Right.
You know, like, we need people with hearts like that in positions of power.
Being a leader is about caring about your people and taking care of your people, because you're on the same level with them. You're all working towards the same goal, and you just have different functions. And being caring and nice and good. Hi, how weird, us, the Queens of Darkness, talking about this.
I know.
But that's where it comes from, right?
We know what it feels like to be on the other side of being judged or being attacked and that kind of thing. And it makes us maybe a little darker and a little cynical, but I've said this before, and I think other people that have met us before too, they're like, oh, I mean, I was intimidated, and I can't believe like you, the horror queens, are some of the nicest people I've ever met.
So I guess it's time for me to say I am a nicey cutie. No, I'm not. I'm not.
You actually really are.
But I love the message. We both agree on
Yeah.
that. Superman, I'm going to give it 8 claws up as well.
I'm with it. I didn't care for the character the engineer. And I remember her from The Authority because I thought The Authority was so redefining back in the day. You had a queer couple, one dark, one light, and like super powerful. That was really cool. I read it for a while and I thought the engineer was kind of a cool character, but they didn't bring it to that level. Like this girl, she was like a try-hard and she was, I didn't believe that she could really threaten Superman the way that she did. And I don't know. I wasn't buying it.
It was a strange choice, definitely.
it
When
really
you think
was.
of Superman's rogues gallery, like her? Okay.
No.
Anyways, let's move on to our final film
Yes.
of the evening, which is Eddington, which is the new Ari Aster A24. I guess it's supposed to be sort of a Western comedy, but it's set in the pandemic times. I love this movie. It really channeled that bizarre energy that we lived through during the pandemic. The being locked up at home, the masks. Are people that wear masks good or are they bad? Or, and
it brought me back to that darkness. I was suffering PTSD in the theater when he got the notification on his phone of his COVID test. After you see the covered from head to toe, masked and face shielded nurse jam that thing up his nose, and then you got the text. I mean, I haven't thought about that stuff because I've chosen to block it.
Yeah. And it was also interesting, the social kick up that happened, right? So you have these sort of like liberal, forward thinking people who kind of went crazy with the concept to the point where it didn't even make sense what they were saying anymore.
It was ridiculous.
Well, that's how things really were.
No,
during
that is how
time.
things
I mean,
were,
it was an accurate portrayal, in my opinion.
100%. And we went off at the beginning of this podcast episode and talked about MAGA and like right wing and just how distorted and ridiculous that group is. But I'll have to say this, there's a contingency of the left, and I think it's like the extreme left. And we saw it in Eddington, and we definitely saw it in like 2020, 2021, all of that stuff. It was so extreme. It was unrelatable. It was unattainable. You couldn't sustain it. Like it was too much.
I felt too, people were locked up at home. They were pissed.
Yeah.
And there was chaos happening and you didn't know, were you going to live or die? Was the whole world going to be extinct? You didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
And it allowed for a really initially great movement to happen with Black Lives Matter. I thought the whole momentum behind that was great.
It was powerful.
It was powerful.
Very powerful.
Yeah. But then there were people on the fringes that I thought misused the moment and did not focus on what was important and instead weaponized the
I
whole
totally
thing.
agree. And I think Eddington tapped not only into the anxiety and all of the crazy circumstances that we all lived through during the pandemic, but there was like this racial, like xenophobic tension, I felt like, between like the white guy and then like the brown guy who's like running against in this battle for mayor.
Right.
And it escalates into the violence being perpetuated by who? The white guy, which I think is what happens in the real world.
It's true.
It's not a drag queen touching your kid. It's usually like a conservative in some position. It's not a brown person or a black person on the streets killing people. It's usually a white guy, and they're killing a lot of people.
Not usually. Like every time there's a mass shooting, it is a
like
white
every
person.
single time.
Yeah. Anyways, if you have not seen this movie, you should go see it while it's still in theaters because I just thought it was excellent. I really liked it.
It gave me anxiety. Like I would never watch it again, but I'm glad I saw it. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break and then we will be right back to answer all of your listener mail.
All right, we are back and it's time to answer your listener questions.
Sean in Austin asks, you have great relationships with your cast members and have fostered mentoring relationships with most of them. Have you ever had a former cast member that you had to enjoy from a distance because of friction in the working relationship? How do you handle that in relation to the franchise?
I have my take on this, which is I think that's a misconception that we have a mentoring relationship with most of the cast. We don't. We do when we're with them filming or on the tour, and we absolutely extend our team to sort of guide and advise them if they want it. We always offer that up.
Mm-hmm. And a little bit before and a little bit after their season as well.
Yeah, exactly. And so We do have that relationship with a few of them, but certainly not all of them. Are there any that we've had to enjoy from a distance? Absolutely. And I'll tell you why. We are not in the same industry and age range as some of our competitors. That's just the truth. And there's a lot of chaos and anger and nastiness and online trolling and stuff that goes with the drag community and being a fan of drag. That is the part of the drag community that I hate, that I absolutely do not want to be around. And so sometimes I do have to have a distance between myself and our cast members because they love to get right in the mud. They love it. Some of them do, not all of them. I don't want to see it. So that's why I don't follow a lot of them and stuff. I just don't want that to be put in my head every day. If they ever, and I mean any of them, and I mean this, I want to say this again, any one of them ever asked me for anything, I would definitely take their call.
I do think there was a time in the earlier seasons when we were really building the show and what it meant to have kind of a truly alt queer platform, even if as small as it was at the very beginning of 1 or 2. We did have that mentoring role. I felt like we definitely took all of the cast right under our wing and we were like, hey, what can we do to help you, basically? And I think as the show got a little bigger and we got more exposed, and then with that comes so many good things, but there's also like a lot you can lose, and then all of a sudden you're like a legal target and all of these things that you don't necessarily see at the beginning, but you have any measure of success, they become a part of your reality.
Right.
And another part of that reality is I don't think we as people are viewed as people. I think that we're kind of held to a different standard.
Like monolithic, kind of.
Yeah.
As ridiculous as it seems when we talk, I'm like, what? But I do believe that.
I believe it too, as if we have no feelings. Encouragement would never even affect us at all, or support, not from everybody, but I do think in general, we're looked at as just different than the peer group. And it's probably true to some degree. Like we are different.
Right.
And I think we just need to keep a distance to have respect and space and sort of like honor that difference.
Yeah.
If anyone needed anything, I would be there. Do I get texts from some competitors and say, hey, could you help me with this? Or what do you think of that? I do. And I answer. I enjoy those relationships, but it's not as many as it used to be.
I'm proud to say I don't get any texts from any cast members, and I'm glad.
And one more question. This is still Sean in Austin. All of your seasons are their own unique vibes, and season 5 was a great season, but it felt very withheld. It seemed like a fairly self-aware cast that was editing themselves in real time on reality TV. Is that a fair assessment? This is not true of the entire cast, just the overall energy felt not fully expressed.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Like right on target.
Yep. I'm not, again, like you said, not with all of them. I thought JK was very real. I thought Cynthia was as well. I felt like Fantasia was great, you know, but some of them absolutely were playing a role and absolutely produced their experience on the show. I mean, that's why we didn't do a reunion.
Yeah.
Because
on
that
6,
season
because of
5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody would open up. And I don't know what it is. We obviously try our hardest to cast people that will open up, but sometimes you get a cast that just won't.
Here's the thing. We love reality TV. We love horror. We love drag. We love reality TV. And we know how to make some reality TV. We know what we like. And what we like is seeing some great personalities doing what they do and doing it well, and conflict. Because that is the reality of this world. If you're in any green room, in any club, in any country, and there's a drag show happening, there's going to be some fucking drama. And people love drama.
The only difference is it won't be overt usually. It's usually snickering around the corner and talking shit behind each other's back. Nasty stuff, but still, nonetheless.
Yeah. And so we want to show the real behind the curtain view of like what these spaces are like. And I think that people get it in their heads like, well, I don't want to be seen that way. Or will I be seen that way? What are their fans going to think of me? And that's when it all goes to shit.
It's that whole blessed queer angel vibe, right? Where it's like, I'm going to make a queer show and I'm going to make everybody perfect on it and flawless. I'm like, that's not reality. Queer people are people just like anybody who mess up constantly and make mistakes and say stupid things and all that. And it's interesting to watch them go through that experience and in some cases learn and evolve from seeing themselves on TV.
I can also respect the idea of not wanting to be entrenched in drama when you're trying to compete for something that is important to you. And I get that. But there is a way to express yourself, share your feelings, have some conflict with someone if that's natural and that's what's happening, but then not engage in it. Like, look
Right.
at us. And it's a very hard lesson being the producers of this show for as long as we have been, because we were involved with the nightlife. Like,
Right.
we were booked all over the place as we were building Dragula. Then we started booking everybody. Like, we know what it's like from both sides of the coin. You can exist in this world. You can exist on TV and you can have static, but you don't have to engage in it. You don't have to feed it. You do have to shield yourself. You do have to realize that there may be situations where you would love to just lash out and voice your opinion and put someone on blast, but that would bring you way more harm than help, and you just have to choose not to.
Part of why I think season 5 was the way it was because of the time period we were just talking about. That whole, I call it the COVID era, that whole couple of years, it just, to me, triggered the worst in people. And I think that was a reaction to that. And honestly, some of them just aren't bold like that. I never say, hey, go fight each other. I don't care. What I say is, have an opinion and share it confidently. That's what I always say. I'm like, you don't have to fight about it, but you have to say what you think. Yeah. All right, next question. Kristen in Dallas asks, hello, gorgeous Boulets.
Ooh, hello.
I am beyond excited to see the show on tour in September. My question is, what do I wear? My goth days are behind me. Now I guess I'm just an elder, millennial, basic bitch mom who can't stand heels. I want to be cute, but don't want to look like a fool. No club kid boots. I know that much. Please help. Kristen.
Well, yeah, a basic bitch mom who loves Dragula is fucking cool to me. Like, you are a target audience that I think is unexpected. And the vibe that we give off on the show, I think the accepting vibe that we kind of foster, you will feel the same vibe at a Dragula show. It's kind of open-armed. People are there to have a great time. You're dealing with like a room full of misfits that are having like a party for misfits.
Yeah. If you want to harken back to your elder goth days and, wear something dark and sexy, go for it. If you don't have to. Like, wear whatever makes you feel comfortable, because that's how we want you and that's how we will receive you. You don't have to wear a prom dress or dress in a costume or dress like a bozo. Although if you did, it would be entertaining.
It would be fun. And people would probably enjoy that too.
They'd be like, fierce.
Yes, bitch. LJ from Milwaukee asks, Swan and Drac, in the latest episode of the podcast, you both shared your fears of ways to die. But I'm curious, being the fabulous directors and showrunners that you are, if you were able to choose and direct, how would you bow out and cut your mortal coil from this realm? How would you like your final exit, death, to be?
If we were able to like write and direct our
it?
own
Yeah.
demise. I've thought it would be really fun to be like ancient and kept half alive by machine, like how Emperor Palpatine was in the new trilogy, like at the end.
That does sound like a good time.
When he was hanging from that hook, outlived all of his contemporaries by decades. I like that.
Is that how you would write it?
I think so, yeah.
The first thing that comes up for me is a question of whether we survive it or not. And for me, it is like a return to our roots. We somehow achieve what we were meant to achieve here on Earth, and then we explode into space. Do we die? Maybe. Do we disperse into like space dust particles? Perhaps. Or do we travel and appear on some other planet in some other world with some other agenda? Probably.
So this is like a science fiction adventure film.
It's a science fiction double feature.
I like it. Cody from Durham asks, I guess he doesn't ask, he says, I apologize if this question has been answered before, but do you plan on ever releasing the Boulet Brothers Dragula Season 666 OST like you did with Season 4, Titans, and 5? The Meet Our Monsters theme and the Horror Icons Reimagined theme specifically are both things that I've wanted to listen to for a very long time. Why did we not release that? I think it's because our music came out last year. Was that maybe that's what it was?
I think it was some of that, but then it was also this whole idea that like, well, when you look back at the years of Dragula, the later years, season 4, Titans, 5, 6, the soundtrack is fucking kick-ass. People love it. So we wanted to repurpose some of those tracks, and you may pick up on that and you may not, because the tracks change quite a bit. They're really cinematic. You might have heard the same track 2 or 3 times over the course of 4 different seasons, but just in different sections of that song.
Yeah.
So we did have some new songs created for season 6, but we actually repurposed several other ones from previous seasons.
Well,
and I
that
think,
was the idea, is to create a soundscape for the show over a couple of years. Now, some people thought that meant every floor show needs its own special song. What show does that?
Yeah, I know.
What no show does that?
In
like,
fact,
it's absurd.
Yeah, there are shows that I can think of, where people sissied their walk like year after year after year after. I mean, how many times I have to hear the song?
And I asked someone that before, because I don't watch Drag Race, and I was like, it's the same song? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, then why are they on my ass to make new songs for every single episode?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Ari writes, I noticed Shudder has Dragula Season 1 leaving at the end of July. Are there any plans for it to be available anywhere else for streaming? Can you say why it's leaving Shudder?
That has to be a misprint. I don't know.
I don't know either, because this is actually not the first time I've heard that.
Maybe someone accidentally wrote it on. I mean, I don't know. I will ask them and find out, and I'll tell you on the beginning of the next episode.
Which will happen in 1 week's time.
In 1 week's time. That's right. All right, everybody, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for joining us. Please remember to rate, subscribe, and review every time you listen to the podcast. I know it's annoying, but it's free. It's the least you can do, because it really helps us. And do not forget to get your tickets to the Boulet Brothers Dragula Season 666 tour. We are leaving soon, and you had better not only be there, but drag a bunch of people with you. We'll see you next week. DragulaLive.com. The Boulet Brothers Creatures of the Night is hosted by the Boulet Brothers with music by Neuron Spectre.